Today, I want to share a book with you that I think every homeschool parent needs to read. And the book is called Teach, Creating Independently Responsible Learners. And it just came out. It was written by Dennis DiNoia. And you might recognize his name because he is the founder of the Mr. D math curriculum. And he offers online, self-paced, and live classes for kids who want to learn math, as well as test prep and a number of other skills. This book is amazing because it talks about the concept of raising kids who are independently responsible. And I think that that's such an important concept for us as homeschool parents. I want to share just a little bit about what Dennis says about what it means for kids to be independently responsible. This comes from pages 24 and 25 of the book. He says, what is happening in that interactive learning environment is that students are literally becoming independently responsible learners. We are giving them the ability to act in a way that is free from outside control or influence. They are going to be able to do something without outside help. They can do it on their own. They are unaided, and we trust them. What do you do when something is not working? You ask a question. But it is now your question. When students develop their own questions, they start to create the independently responsible learner model. I love this. As a homeschool parent, this is exactly what I am hoping for my kids. I want them to grow up to be independently responsible, to be able to ask their own questions, to be able to think for themselves, to be able to make their own decisions given the information that's presented to them. And in this book, Dennis DiNoia gives us some really practical tips as homeschool parents for exactly how to teach these skills to our kids. One of the strategies that I loved was a tip that he shared for being able to solve test questions and specifically word problems. And this was something that's so simple, going to be really easy to teach to my kids, but something that I never had thought of before. So I want to read a little bit from page 72 of the book. It says, the objective of the test is for you to answer the question. So find the question. And then he says, sometimes the questions or the statement is at the beginning of the problem, but it is just the exception that proves the rule. So find the question. He says that usually it's at the end of the word problem. And then he says, once you find the question, your job is to answer it. Once you find the question, then you're going back to the problem and look for information. But at this moment, you have an intention to answer the question because you found the question. The word intention means to direct the mind on. With that intention, you are directing your mind on answering the question. You are looking for the information that is available that will assist you in coming up with your formulation for how to find the questions and then answer the questions. It is an amazing process and it takes practice. Why does it take practice? Because we have trained people for hundreds of years to not do that. So in the book, he suggests that normally when teachers teach kids how to solve problems that are written out as a word problem form, that they tell them to start at the beginning, read the whole problem, and then look for the question and find the answer. And Dennis suggests in the book that maybe we should flip it around, that we should start with having kids find the question. They should read the question first. And then when they go back to read the problem, that will help them be able to focus on the parts of the problem that give the information that they need to be able to solve the question that they already know. I love this strategy because my kids are often so confused by word problems, and this will be a great way to help them be able to be successful. And it's just one example of the really practical information that I learned from the book Teach. There are so much more information in this book and so many more practical suggestions that are great for homeschool parents. I love chapter 6, which told the 3 secrets for test taking, but I think my favorite chapter was chapter 4, because in chapter 4, Dennis talks about how we can not only raise independent readers, but also reduce our workload as homeschool parents at the same time. So I definitely recommend that you get this book if you are a homeschool parent or even somebody who is considering being a homeschool parent. I think that it really gives us a lot of practical strategies and helpful tips for raising kids that are independently responsible, that think for themselves, that are able to learn on their own, and that are able to take responsibility for their own education. And as parents, I think that's something that we all want for our kids. So I will put some links in the description of this video to where you can get this book for yourself. It's available as both a paperback and a Kindle version on Amazon. And I'll put those links in the description of the video so that you can learn more.